country. We no longer allow for authorizations to use military force. We have Congress straight up debate whether or not we're going to war, and then they have a vote. That's how it's supposed to work.
And Ms. Stefanik, you can weigh in here.
Sure. So foreign policy issues are extremely important in this country and in New York's 21st District. Aaron Wolf has just demonstrated that he lacks an understanding. The red line in Syria was established by President Obama. Assad were to use chemical weapons. Assad used chemical weapons on Syrian people, and there was no consequences. We are in this position today with a rising ISIS because of President Obama's failed leadership. The question wasn't about Ebola, Aaron. The question was about President Obama's failed foreign policy, and specifically the red line in Syria. I believe that we need to be working with our allies. I also believe that we need to be listening to our military commanders who are the experts and give the best advice about what our policy should be in the Middle East.
We can engage on this.
Yeah, I'd like to. I mean, obviously, I know what the red line is. I know what the use is. And obviously, I didn't say I'm a press release kind of guy. Your whole strategy, it seems to me, is to repeat things and repeat things and repeat things over and over again. This is the entire spin machine that's been working with the Stefanik campaign in order to get them to saturate. She says, if I link myself to Owens, if I link my opponent to Obama over and over again, that's a strategy. But what it does is it distracts from the real issues. It distracts from the fact that my opponent has failed to take a stand on the minimum wage. She's failed to take a stand on Paul Ryan's idea to voucherize Medicare. These are the things that the voters in this district want to know.
Aaron, I know your campaign is fledgling. I know that you're frustrated.
Fledgling?
It is fledgling. I've spent the past 15 months traveling this district, listening to voters, and sharing my opinions. On the issues that you just laid out, I've been very specific. I'm open to raising the minimum wage as long as small businesses have a seat at the table. In terms of Social Security and the Ryan budget, I would have voted no. I'm running to put forth my own solutions. And if you travel around this district and talk to the hundreds and thousands of people that I've met with, I've outworked you in this campaign, and I'm going to outwork you as the next representative in Congress if I earn the support.
Yeah, I don't like that kind of petty personal stuff, but it's really characterized the Stefanik campaign and their way of operating in the national press. I don't know exactly what when you say small business doesn't have a seat at the table. We've been discussing this for 2 years in Congress.
Actually,
A recent survey, a national survey, said that 67% of small businesses were in favor of raising the minimum wage. Mitt Romney's in favor of raising the minimum wage. Bill O'Reilly is in favor of raising the minimum wage. I mean, these are the natural allies for my opponent, and it's surprising that she keeps punting on this question because small business has been at the table and small business has embraced this idea. We need to give Americans a raise, and we need to give our consumers a raise.
Might I rebut that?
Please.
Very simply, let's look at it this way. The Democrats like to call us their friends. They put their arm around us in the working class, and they pet our hair, and they say, oh, poor worker. What they also do is then they give us something that isn't real. $10.10 an hour is just enough to get you off of Medicaid. It's just enough to get you out of subsidized housing. Just enough to get you off of food stamps. So it's a Republican initiative. It's a Mitt Romney plan, just like the ACA. Has nothing to do with common sense for workers. We need an actual raise. $15 an hour in single-payer health care, I'm on board. Until the Democrats advocate for that, they sure couldn't be my party. As a small business person, I advocate that the same way Henry Ford did. You're going to pay your people enough that they can buy the products that you produce. It's a quintessentially American thought process. These two parties don't have it.
On the minimum wage, since this is a new issue, I'm proud that my family's business pays $14.50 and up. I commend Matt Funicello for paying his employees $15 and up. The candidate on this stage who pays less than the minimum wage he is advocating for is Aaron Wolf, who pays $10. So I hope you give your workers a raise after this election.
It is Mr. Wolf's turn for another question.
Well, I'd like very much to respond to that. You know, I am a minority partner in this business. I cannot unilaterally make that decision about raising wages. I'm in a very different business than both Ms. Stefanik's family and Matt Funicello. But I do think that at least close to the minimum wage, I pay 25% above the minimum wage now. I think we need to get to 10.10. Look, it's a step. It's a step. I think Matt Funicello makes excellent points. I think he envisions a society.
Don't make me say vote for me again in this debate.
I think he makes important points that are important goals. But the fact is, we need to take incremental steps. Elise Stefanik refuses to take any step in that direction, and incremental steps are the way that you need a pragmatist to work.
To get back on track, we need your next question, sir, to your candidate.
My next question to you is, what constitutes bringing small business to the table? If you are in favor of having a conversation, and I haven't been in politics nearly as long as Ms. Stefanik has, but I've learned that when you don't want to answer, you say, I'd like to have a conversation about that. It's a way of punting. It's a way of kicking the can down the road. So my question with minimum wage is, what constitutes bringing small business to the table if 67% of small businesses have already said that they're in favor of raising the minimum wage?
We've seen what happens when small businesses don't have a seat at the table. If you look at Obamacare, legislation that was passed by a single party without small businesses' input, without working on a bipartisan basis, it doesn't work, and it hurts small businesses in this country and in the 21st Congressional District. We have an economy here that has summer opportunities. We have high school students that have jobs during the summers. We have college kids who have jobs. I want to make sure that the minimum wage, when we talk about raising the minimum wage, it fits our economy here. But I want to reiterate, and these are for Aaron Wolf's workers in Brooklyn, that you deserve a raise, and I hope one of the outcomes of this campaign is that after November 4th, you get the raise that you've earned, because as I've said, our family business is proud to pay $4.50 and above. Matt Funicello, he acts like he talks. He pays $15 to his workers. Aaron Wolf has lost credibility on this issue because he doesn't even pay employees the wage that he is advocating for.
Actually, it's Mr. Funicello's chance now. So.
Two very important points, if I could rebut that. And I know this is taking up even more time. I don't pay $15 an hour. I pay $12 to $20 an hour to my production staff, and I don't make $20 an hour. There are actually 3 people who work for me who make more. I feel the need to throw that out there. I do not want misinformation out there in any way whatsoever. As a small business person, I don't believe that the Chamber of Commerce and the NFIB represent me. They represent franchises. They represent Walmart. There's a truth to this. Small businesses already pay their workers more than franchises do. And the franchises are dictating how and when we are going to either increase our minimum wage or not. It shouldn't be up to them. It should be up to workers what they are going to allow as their rate. Voting is the way to decide that.
$10 is a starting wage at my business. There are many workers there that earn more. What I think is really important is that we come to a national consensus about that. If Elise Stefanik is elected on November 4th, she won't just be representing the employees of Premium Plywood. She'll be representing all the employees in this district. And it's really important that she understand that passing the minimum wage is one of the most important and effective ways we can grow our economies.
And that's why I think small businesses in this district should have a seat at the table. That's why I have my position that I'm open to raising the minimum wage. What
would constitute a seat at the table?
It's what they didn't have for Obamacare. It's what President Obama has forced through. And Speaker Pelosi, the party that you will caucus with if you're elected, they don't give small businesses a seat at the table when they pass legislation. I will, and that's my commitment to small businesses and workers across this district.
Well, now it's Mr. Funicello's opportunity to
ask another question? Oh, my goodness. Aaron, I want to ask a question I hope you do not take umbrage at, but it's an important question, and it talks to the point I've been making over and over again, which is I don't believe that people of means are bad people. What I do believe is we already have enough of them in Congress. Everyone in Congress is a millionaire or better. It's time to have workers at the table, which you're both running against me, so that's okay. You're saying it's all right to have people with means there exclusively. I want people to know more about you as a person and a candidate. How much is your home in Elizabethtown worth? To give people an idea.
You know, it's hard to give an exact value. A lot of the building I did myself. I milled the boards myself.
What's it appraised at?
You know,
what are your property taxes per year? Some indicator
I actually know the value that Mr. Fine's home is appraised at, but I feel
and say that and yours too. Please share that with us.
Look, there's only one candidate here who's got a $1.5 million condominium in Washington.
Actually, there's only one candidate here who has a 1-bedroom apartment in the Glens Falls area.
You know what?
That he rents.
I think Matt's point is important, and his point is that there is far too much money in politics. And, you know, having money is one of the things that is relatively new to me. I grew up in a middle-class family with professors as parents. But I got to say, I think one of the things that's really, really important is that when you do have some money, and I do not embrace the fact that money has taken on such a huge role in politics. I'm very proud of the fact that in the last quarter reporting, I have